What if the fairy tale was a lie? What if Hollywood's golden couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds was hiding a storm so powerful it could destroy everything they built? In a shocking courtroom twist, Ryan takes the stand and flips the script on Blake, exposing secrets, betrayal, and a truth no one saw coming. This isn't a tabloid rumor, it's sworn testimony. What really happened behind closed doors? Why did he turn against her? Stay tuned, because what just unfolded in that courtroom could end Blake Lively's career forever. You don't want to miss this. The drama began when Blake Lively filed a misconduct complaint against fellow actor Justin Baldoni, claiming harassment and emotional distress. For a while, she garnered support as a strong woman standing up for herself in an unforgiving industry. But as the case moved through discovery, the narrative started to twist. Behind closed doors, cracks appeared, and then came the moment no one saw coming. Ryan Reynolds was added to the witness list. His name wasn't floated voluntarily. It came by legal compulsion under Rule 45, meaning he had no choice but to speak. In person, under oath, on June 1st, Ryan entered the courtroom through a side door. His legal team had tried to excuse him, arguing his commitments to Deadpool 3 and the press tour made his attendance impossible. But Judge Marcia Dempsey wasn't moved. She ruled that the court needed him live, not through Zoom or filtered press. Statements, just Ryan Reynolds, unedited and unprotected. And what he said didn't just rock the courtroom, it detonated it. He began calmly, confirming that he and Blake had a major fight in November 2023, sparked when he discovered late-night texts between her and Justin Baldoni. In those messages, Blake described Baldoni as emotionally attentive and wrote that she felt understood in a way Ryan doesn't. The messages weren't just casual. Ryan described them as persistent, flirtatious, and deeply inappropriate. But it wasn't just the texts that disturbed him, it was what followed. According to Ryan, Blake didn't panic out of fear or trauma. She panicked about her image. He testified that she said, "If I don't frame this right, I lose the brand, the podcast deal, and my seat at the table." That quote sent a chill through the courtroom. Her concern wasn't about healing, it was about controlling the narrative. Her legal team objected, but the judge overruled them. Spousal privilege, she ruled, did not apply to this type of civil misconduct case. The next morning, things escalated. Ryan's lawyers submitted digital evidence-authenticated emails between Blake and her longtime publicist, Stephanie Jones. In one explosive message, Blake wrote, "Justin's been acting shady. If he leaks the texts, I'm done. I'll destroy him first. Let's own the narrative like Amber did with Depp." That line caused audible gasps in the courtroom. The emails were confirmed by court forensics as real, complete with metadata. And server logs, there was no doubt. For days before filing her formal complaint, Blake Lively had already laid out her PR battle plan. From that moment, everything changed. What was once seen as a brave stand against misconduct now appeared to be a calculated media move. The defense didn't need to tear her. Apartrian had already done that by simply telling the truth, and the consequences weren't limited to personal matters. Ryan Reynolds, once Hollywood's golden boy, began to feel the career blowback. Immediately, Disney put all promotional activity for Deadpool and Wolverine on indefinite pause. Apple TV Plus pulled out of an $18 million comedy-drama deal with Ryan's company, Maximum Effort. A family-themed series he was set to star in and produce was canceled overnight. Behind the scenes, Hugh Jackman, his co-star and longtime friend, reportedly warned Marvel Studios that the ongoing scandal might tank their movie's image. Insiders said studio execs even discussed separating the actors for future press events or delaying the film entirely. Meanwhile, Ryan was furious, not because of lost income but because of lost control. He had spent 15 years building a clean, clever, family-friendly brand, from Aviation Gin to Wrexham FC to being the face of chic yet wholesome entrepreneurship. And now, because of what he called Blake's reckless ambition, it was all burning down. In private messages to friends, Ryan reportedly said, "I'm not collateral damage. I'm the actual target now." Back in the courtroom, the fallout reached a boiling point. As Ryan stepped down from the witness box, Blake sat trembling. She muttered under her breath, "He was supposed to protect me." Then came the outburst. She slammed a folder onto the table, scattering papers everywhere, then pointed at her lawyer and snapped, "Fix this." Her legal team immediately tried to strike Ryan's testimony, claiming it was emotionally manipulative. The judge shut it down. The damage was already done. Outside the courtroom, the dominoes kept falling. Stephanie Jones officially dissolved Jones Works, the PR firm that had handled Blake's image for years. Legal filings cited reputational collapse and pending liabilities stemming directly from the Lively scandal. Meanwhile, insiders confirmed Ryan had begun preparing for a legal asset separation, an early step toward divorce. Their joint ventures were being audited, sponsorships dropped, and brands that once relied on Blake's face quietly pulled her from marketing materials. But the case wasn't over. In fact, it was just heating up. Justin Baldoni's legal team now had evidence that the misconduct complaint may have been a PR tactic. Two former co-stars of Blake from separate streaming projects came forward through their attorneys, claiming she had used similar manipulation tactics in the past. This wasn't just a civil suit anymore. It was a character trial. Still, Blake Lively didn't back down. On June 9th, just hours after a judge dismissed Baldoni's $400 million defamation countersuit, Blake released a public statement. "I've felt the pain of a retaliatory lawsuit," she wrote, "but I'm more resolved than ever to stand for every woman's right to have a voice." She listed 19 women's rights organizations that had stood behind her, including Equal Rights Advocates, Child USA, and the California Women's Law Center. Yet, even her tight-knit celebrity circle began to dissolve. Taylor Swift, once the face of Blake's inner circle, reportedly stopped replying to her messages. Gigi Hadid unfollowed her. Cara Delevingne dropped out of a joint ad campaign, and amid the storm, Ryan was still silent until he wasn't. The final straw wasn't a lost deal or a broken trust. It was a headline. In April 2025, the Daily Mail published an article titled, "Ryan Reynolds is hiding something huge and it's not about Blake." It included blurry images of their daughters being followed outside their New York school. A paparazzo even approached one of their teachers, asking for the class schedule. That was the moment Ryan cracked. In court, he said, "I didn't care about the PR anymore. I didn't care about Deadpool. I cared about getting my kids out of the line of fire." He met with his legal team the next morning and agreed to testify no handlers. No PR spin, just the truth. Now, with Blake's deposition scheduled for July 17th in New York City, the case continues to gain momentum. While her lawyers argue for privacy, Justin Baldoni's team proposed live streaming the deposition from Madison Square Garden, with ticket sales benefiting domestic violence victims. Her side called it a publicity stunt. But the media frenzy only grew louder. Behind the scenes, Blake's team is working overtime. They're reportedly exploring ways to avoid a jury trial, perhaps a private settlement or a bench trial to contain further fallout. But that may be wishful thinking. Public opinion has turned, and the industry has taken notice. This story isn't ending with a courtroom verdict. It's ending with a truth that can't be spun. For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were seen as Hollywood's most untouchable couple, a model of modern marriage, success, and charm. But behind the Instagram smiles and podcast appearances was a storm quietly building. And now the mask is off. In the end, Ryan Reynolds didn't step forward to destroy his wife. He stepped forward because staying silent was destroying everything: Elsa's brand, his career, and most of all, his family. If this story shocked you, hit like, share, and subscribe for more untold truths behind the headlines. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because sometimes the biggest scandals aren't scripted, they're lived. And the fallout, that's just getting started. Thanks for watching. *.